Dear students, today's topic of my lecture, Alternating Current, Chapter 7, Part 7. So just to see that what you have to learn in this Part 7. First, I explain AC generator, then its principle, construction and working of AC generator. After that, we will take one numerical problem so that you can apply the concept whatever you learn about the AC generator, that you apply your concept to solve this numerical. And at last, in recapitulation, we have to solve multiple choice questions. So whatever you learn till now, you have to apply your concept and solve MCQs, check your answers, whether they are correct or not. So first of all, AC generator. So what is basically AC generator? AC generator or AC dynamo or alternator is a device which convert mechanical energy into alternating current, that is electrical energy. So with the help of the AC generator, we can convert mechanical energy into electrical energy or alternating current. Now on what principle it's working based? The AC generator is based on the principle of electromagnetic induction. That is, the production of induced EMF and hence induced current due to the change in magnetic flux linked with a closed coil, that is called electromagnetic induction, and the AC generator is based on this principle of electromagnetic induction. Now what is its construction? Means what parts it consists. So the different parts you can see in the diagram, they are highlighted here. It consists one a rectangular coil PQRS, and that coil is placed between the two poles of horseshoe magnet, as you can see in the figure. These are the two poles and this PQRS is the coil which is placed in between the two poles. The two ends of this coil are connected to slip rings. This is S1 and S2 are the slip rings. So the two ends of this coil are connected to the slip rings. The inner side of these rings is made insulated. The two conducting stationary brushes B1 and B2, you can see here in the diagram, are kept pressed separately on the rings S1 and S2 respectively. The two rings S1 and S2 are internally attached to an axle. Here it is a axle. So slip rings S1 and S2 are internally attached to the axle. The axle may be mechanically rotated from outside for rotating the coil inside the magnetic field. Outer end of two brushes, here you can see here, these are the outer ends of the brushes. They are connected to the load resistance, that is RL, means to a device for the flow of current in given external circuit. So this is about the construction of AC generator. Now the working of AC generator. For that purpose, we divide its working by explaining in two parts, taking the two diagrams, say A and B. So when the axle which is attached to the two slip rings is rotated such that the arm PQ, you focus on figure A. So when the axle attached to the two slip rings is rotated, then the arm PQ that moved up, arm PQ moved up, and the arm RS moved downward. In the magnetic field produced by the horseshoe magnet, now the coil PQRS is rotated clockwise. You can see in the diagram, clockwise in the arrangement as you can see in figure A. Now by applying the Fleming's right hand rule, the induced current is set up in these arms along the direction PQRS. The Fleming's right hand rule I already explained. Further you can see it. Stretch the forefinger, thumb and central finger of right hand. Then the forefinger that represents the direction of magnetic field. Thumb will represent the direction of motion, that is the movement, and central finger then represent the direction of the induced current. So by applying this Fleming's right hand rule, we can find out the direction of the induced current in the armature coil PQRS. So here its direction is from P to Q and R to S in this position of armature coil in magnetic field. Thus, an induced current flows in the direction PQRS. If there are large number of turns in the coil, then the current generated in each turn adds up to give the large amount of the current to the coil. This means that the current in the external circuit flows from brushes B2 to B1. You can see here the direction of the current. Actual meaning of this is that the potential difference between the two brushes B1 and B2, that the potential at B2 is higher than the potential at B1. So that's why the direction of the current that flows in external circuit is from brush B2 to B1. And in external circuit, a load resistance RL is connected. Now after half rotation, the arm RS is moving up and arm PQ is moving down. As a result, the direction of the induced currents in both the arms change, giving rise to the net induced current in the direction S R Q P, as you can see in diagram B. So the current in the external circuit now starts moving from brush B1 to B2. It means the potential at B1 is higher than potential at B2. Thus, after every half rotation, the polarity of the current in the respective arms changes, and such a current which changes the direction after equal interval of time is called an alternating current. So this is about the working of AC generator, and that working you can also understand by an animated video. Now you can see the working of AC generator. So in the diagram you can see that there is a coil which is called armature coil, and the ends of this armature coil is connected to the two slip rings, which is attached to the brushes and placed in magnetic field produced by two poles N and S of the horseshoe magnet. Then these two brushes, they are connected to the external circuit. Here it is connected to the oscilloscope, and there is a axle along to the axis of the armature coil. So this is about the different part of AC generator which are highlighted in this diagram. And the Fleming's right hand rule can be used to memorize the relation between the direction of magnetic field, direction of the movement of the conductor, and the direction of the current induced. The direction of magnetic field is defined to be pointing from north pole to south pole. The direction of the current is defined to be the movement of positive charge, that is the direction of conventional current. And the Fleming's left hand rule is different than the Fleming's right hand rule. So here we have to apply the Fleming's right hand rule. Now see here, when the coil is at this position, then the motion of conductor PQ and RS are indicated by red arrows. You can see in the diagram, as the motion of both conductors are parallel with no components to the magnetic field. So the induced EMF and the current generated in the coil is zero. You can see also here in the graph. So when the coil turns through 90 degree of rotation, you just see conductor RS is moving upward and the PQ moving downward. From Fleming's right hand rule, the current induced in the coil is shown in figure with white arrows. You can see in the diagram. Its meaning is that the potential difference of point R is higher than the point Q, and the EMF against the time curve increases from 0 to maximum. You can see in the graph, as the component of the velocity perpendicular to the magnetic field increases to maximum. Now we rotate it, and this is rotated to the 1/4 of the time period. So further we rotate it, then what happens? The conductor RS is still moving upward and the PQ is still moving downward. So the polarity of the EMF is the same as before. But as the coil turns through the 90 degree of rotation, that is the time period is the half T/2, then the velocity of conductor RS and PQ are less and less perpendicular to the magnetic field, and thus EMF decreases from maximum to zero, as you see the graph. Now we rotate it to the 3/4 of the time period, that is 3T/4. Then during the 90 degree of rotation, you just saw the direction of movement of conductor changed. Now the conductor RS starts moving downward and the conductor PQ starts moving upward. The potential of the point Q is now higher than the point R, and the polarity of the EMF changes, reflected by the EMF against time graph going to negative on the oscilloscope. You can see in the diagram, as far As for the magnitude of the EMF, it increases from 0 to maximum, but polarity is negative through this 90 degree of rotation that you can see in the graph. Now further we rotate so that the complete rotation of one cycle takes place, that is in the time period t. So in time period t, what happens during the 90-degree rotation of the coil, the magnitude of the EMF with negative polarity decreases from maximum to 0 again. The coil has rotated one complete turn since the beginning, and the EMF against the time graph has completed one period, that is capital T. In this simple AC generator, the frequency of the AC generator that generated is the same as the frequency of rotation of the coil. So this is about the working of AC generator. So from here we can say that the mechanical work done onto the axle of AC generator is converted into electrical energy. Now mathematically we have to find out how the variation of induced EMF and hence induced current takes place due to the rotation of armature coil in magnetic field. So you can see here in the diagram, PQRS is an armature coil placed in a magnetic field, that is a uniform magnetic field. B, which is produced by the poles of horseshoe magnet, and this dotted line is representing the axis of the coil about which it is rotating with angular velocity omega, and theta is the angle between the normal drawn onto the plane of the coil with magnetic field. Then as the coil rotates, then the effective area of the coil exposed to the magnetic field lines changes with time. Then the magnetic flux at any time t is given by phi b equal to Ba cos theta, but theta equal to omega t. So that's why the expression becomes phi b equal to Ba cos omega t. Mark this equation number 1. Now from Faraday's law, the induced EMF for rotating the coil of n turns is E equal to minus n d phi b upon dt equal to minus n b a d upon dt cos omega t. Now we differentiate this cos omega t with respect to time, then its differentiation is omega sin omega t. So we will get the instantaneous value of EMF is E equal to NBA omega sin omega t. Mark this equation number 2. Now E will be maximum when sin omega t equal to plus minus 1. Then NBA omega is the maximum induced EMF. So we can say that where NBA omega is the maximum value of EMF which occurs when sin omega t equal to plus minus 1. So this maximum value of EMF can be written as E naught. So E naught equal to NBA omega. Mark this equation number 3 and substitute this value in equation number 2. Then you will get E equal to E naught sin omega t. Mark this equation number 4. So due to the rotation of the coil in the magnetic field, the mechanical energy get converted into the electrical energy, that is an alternating induced EMF developed. Hence an alternating induced current is developed. How the variation of induced EMF between the ends of the coil with angle theta, which is perpendicular to the plane of the coil, makes with magnetic field takes place, that you can understand here. Since the value of the sine function varies from +1 and -1 because the polarity gets changed, then the sign or the polarity of the EMF changes with time. Then from the following figures, you can note down that EMF has its extreme value when theta equal to 90 degree. You can see here in the diagram this position, and theta equal to 270 degree. Means here it is plus E naught, that is maximum value. Here it is minus E naught, means the polarity gets changed at angle 270 degree due to the change in magnetic flux. And at these two angles, theta equal to 90 degree and 270 degree, the magnetic flux is the greatest at these points. The direction of the current changes periodically, and therefore the current is called alternating current. Since omega equal to 2 pi f, then you substitute this value in equation number 4, then equation 4 becomes E equal to E naught in place of omega 2 pi f t. Then you mark that equation number 5. So the equation 5, that becomes E equal to E naught sine 2 pi f t, where f is the frequency of revolution of generator coil. Now how the variation takes place? So when plane of the armature coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field, at that time the angle theta equal to 0, then in that condition the induced EMF E equal to E naught sine 0. Sine 0 is 0, so induced EMF E equal to 0. Now in second stage, means now you rotate the armature coil to 1/4 of the time period through 90 degree. The plane of the armature is parallel to the magnetic field. In that condition, E equal to E naught sine 90 degree. Sine 90 is +1, so E equal to plus E naught. So induced EMF is increases from 0 to maximum. Now we rotate the armature coil of 180 degree at time t by 2, that is half of the time period. Then further you can see that the induced EMF decreases and its value becomes 0. So decreases from maximum to 0 because E equal to E naught sine 180. Sine 180 is 0, so E equal to 0. Further rotates, and after the rotation of armature coil of 270 degree, then the induced EMF increases from 0 to maximum, but the polarity is negative. At time 3 by 4 t, that is 3/4 of the time period. So in that condition, mathematically if you calculate E equal to E naught sine 270 degree, sine 270 degree is -1, so E equal to minus E naught. Further, when we rotate the armature coil to 360 degree, so in that case again the induced EMF decreases from maximum to 0. At this point the time period is t. Mathematically, when you calculate E equal to E naught sine 360 degree, sine 360 degree is 0, so that's why E equal to 0. So over to the one complete cycle, induced EMF varies from 0 to maximum, maximum to 0, then 0 to maximum in opposite polarity, then maximum to 0. So this is a alternating EMF, and hence alternating current is developed. So from here we can say that in AC generator, mechanical energy get converted into electrical energy. We take one example. Samriddhi pedals a stationary bicycle. The pedals of the bicycle are attached to a 100 turns of coil of area 0.10 meter square. The coil rotates at half a revolution per second and it is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.01 Tesla perpendicular to the axis of rotation of the coil. What is the maximum voltage generated in the coil? So you have to apply the concept which you have learned for the maximum voltage, and what is given in the question you understand. Then you see that in this question number of turns are given, capital N is given, area capital A is given, frequency is also given, half rotation, that is 1 by 2 hertz, 0.5 hertz, and the magnetic field is given 0.01 Tesla. Theta is also given, that is theta equal to 90 degree perpendicular to the axis of rotation of coil. Then you apply directly the formula E naught equal to NBA omega, and the omega is 2 pi f. Substitute all values and then you solve it. Then you see the solution here. So whatever the values are given, that is written over here. That frequency f is 0.5 hertz is given, n is 100, a is 0.1 meter square, and b is 0.1 Tesla. Apply the formula E equal to E naught N B A omega. In place of omega is 2 pi f. Substitute the values. N is 100, B is 0.01, A is 0.1, 2, then pi 3.14, frequency is 0.5 hertz. After calculation, you will get 0.314 volt, or the maximum voltage is 0.314 volt. So the numerical becomes easy if your concepts are clear, understand the language of the question, understand what are the parameters are given in the question that you note down, then you think that which formula we have to apply, and then you substitute the values and solve the question and get the correct answer. Now in recapitulation, we have to take some multiple choice questions. The first question is here. In general, in an alternating current circuit, options are here. A, average value of current is 0. Average value of square of current is 0. C, average power dissipation is 0. D, phase difference between voltage and current is 0. So for option A is correct, that is average value of current is 0. So whatever you learn, that concept you apply and choose the correct answer. Second one is the frequency of AC mains in India is, options are here. A, 30 cycle per second, B, 50 cycle per second, C, 60 cycle per second, D, 120 cycle per second. In India, all frequencies used for the instruments, or the instruments they works on the frequency of AC in India is 50 cycle per second. So your answer is B is correct. Now question number 3. An AC source is connected to a resistive circuit. Which of the following is true? Resistive circuit means a circuit that consists only the resistance. So in that case, options are here. A, current leads ahead of voltage in phase, current lags behind the voltage in phase, that is the option B. Option C, current and voltage are in the same phase. D option, any of the above may be true depending upon the value of the resistance. So apply the concept which you learn. So answer C is correct. Current and voltage are in the same phase. Now question number 4. With increase in frequency of an AC supply, the inductive reactance. So first you understand what is inductive reactance. You already studied and learn it. XL equal to omega L and omega is 2 pi f. So XL is basically directly proportional to the frequency. So now options are here. A decreases, B increases directly with frequency, increases as square of frequency, decreases inversely with frequency. So XL is directly proportional to the frequency. So the answer B should be correct. Increases directly with frequency. Question number 5. The phase difference between voltage and current in a capacitor in an AC circuit is. Options are A pi, B pi by 2, C 0, D pi by 3. In case of the capacitor, alternating current leads the alternating voltage by the phase angle pi by 2 that you have already learned. Apply that concept, then the answer should be B pi by 2. Now sixth question. With increase in frequency of an AC supply, the impedance of an LCR series circuit. Options are here. A remains constant, B increases, C decreases, D decreases at first, become minimum and then increases. So you must know what is the impedance formula for LCR circuit. That is Z equal to under root R square plus XL minus XC whole square. And XL and XC they depends on to the frequency of AC. That is XL directly proportional to the frequency, XC inversely proportional to the frequency. Therefore, you apply this concept and choose the correct MCQ. So, answer D should be correct. That impedance first decreases, become minimum, and after that increases. Now, question number 7. A transformer is employed to. Options are A. Convert AC into DC, B. Convert DC into AC, C. Obtain a suitable AC voltage, D. Obtain a suitable DC voltage. So choose the correct answer. AC transformer is employed to obtain a suitable AC voltage. So option C is correct. Now question 8. Quantity that remains unchanged in a transformer is voltage, current, frequency, none of these. So in transformer basically voltage step up, step down. Similarly current also step up, step down. If voltage is high, current is low, and voltage is low, current is high. So that's why the answer C is correct. The frequency does not change, that remains constant. Question 9. A transformer is based on the principle of. Means on what principle the transformer works. Options are here. A. Mutual induction, B. Self-induction, C. Ampere's law, D. X-ray crystallography. So answer is mutual induction. Question number 10. The transformation ratio in the step-up transformer is. Your options are A 1, B greater than 1, C less than 1, D none of these. So apply the concept which you learn in transformer. For making the step-up transformer, the transformation ratio should be greater than 1. So the answer B is correct. If you like my video, like it, subscribe press the bell icon. Stay safe, stay healthy, learn physics with my YouTube channel by staying at home. Thank you and have a nice day.